Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. Today's story is about my beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. This is gonna be a long one. My wife and I were married for 21 years. I figured it was one of those miracle marriages because we barely argued, seemed I always be the best of friends, etc. Well, our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe thing for her birthday from a friend. And of course, it said we weren't related. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. Only her brother and I seemed to be related. So I did a paternity test afterwards and lo and behold, she wasn't my fucking child. My ex-wife cried and pleaded for me to hear her out, but I just went numb to her. It would be one thing to cheat, but to find out the light of my life isn't even to related to me killed me. Don't get me wrong, I love my daughter with all of my heart. She's still my daughter no matter what. But what's scaring me most is my seemingly vindictive desires. I've never been like this, and I know it's out of anger, but I want her to suffer so bad. The kids absolutely hate her. Which on one end helps that desire, but I know that deep down, she is still their mother, and I don't really want them to hate her. Her parents and siblings all are mortified at her. Her sister hasn't spoken to her in a couple months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel great, which in turn scares me, because I don't actually want her life to go into shambles. But I can't help feel euphoric when I learn something in her life is falling apart. Both children are living with me, as they don't view their mother in a favorable light at all right now. I'm thinking about having the talk about them going to talk to her, because as of now, they refuse. The part that breaks my heart the most is that my daughter seems to be overcompensating her roles of a daughter. She makes sure to tell me how much she loves me, and is, in essence, being the perfect daughter. But I can tell it's because she knows that she isn't biologically mine, but she desperately wants me to know how much she values me. I'm actually going to talk to her tonight about that. To tell her that she doesn't have to act differently. I just really want to know how to shake the sadness and angry, vindictive feelings. I want to move forward as well as help my children move forward so they can worry about school and being teens. Please, any advice will help. For some clarification, we did talk about it, and it was in the fair. I just didn't want to write that part out because it physically makes me shake with anger to talk about it. My daughter and I are both in therapy. I am taking the advice of my therapist and the many commenters on my last post, and am not going to force my kids to talk to their mother. They are old enough to understand the gravity of the situation and have their own feelings about it. Because of this, they will need to take their own time gathering up how they feel in dealing with it, with any help they need from me, of course. The pain my daughter is going through seems to have healed somewhat. I've gotten her to fully believe that my love for her will never change and that she will always be my daughter. Her pain seems not to be about our relationship anymore, but her newly found trust issues and trauma from the family being broken apart. She's also confided in me that she feels like it's all her fault, and that if she never brought the kid home, the family would still be together. I hugged her and let her know that none of this was her fault, and that she was only looking to do something fun with the family. She had no idea what would happen and that she should never blame herself. I've had one conversation with my SDBXW, in which she begged and pleaded with me to forgive her and that she would cherish me for the rest of her life. She said it was stupid, it meant nothing, and that she regrets it 100%. She also said that she believes our love can withstand it. I told her that if our love was that strong, she wouldn't have felt the need to find sexual comfort in someone else. She is currently staying with her parents. I've communicated with her sister, and apparently she's borderline suicidal. They are trying to get her help, but she refuses, as the only thing she wants to do is see me and the children. Because of this, I'm waiting to serve her the divorce papers. I don't want to add on any more things to destroy her mental health. I've brought up talking to her with my son and daughter, to which they adamantly refused. I am going to respect their wishes and give them their own time to cope. I have this nagging feeling that she does not actually care about how it made any of us feel, and that she only cares about the fact that she's about to lose her picture-perfect family and the comfortable life that we had, and that it's her fault. I have no desires to try to fix the relationship and move forward. That's all for now. Now let's go to some best community comments on this story. I'm willing to believe she knew the daughter wasn't yours, but decided to take the secret to her grave. Not because it was a betrayal but because it told on her. Cheaters don't care that they cheated, only that they got caught. That's why they make all the promises after you find out what did. Really? This story is fairly common. A lot of men find out they are being cuckolded every day. Sadly, it is a common occurrence throughout history, more than most people want to admit. It only recently, with technology advancing, that DNA tests are so cheap. Back in my 20s, when I still looked at a perfect world, I was horrified to find that nearly every woman I worked with cheated. Only one of the men I knew did so. Now that might have been an abomination, but nothing I've seen in the 40-year sign has changed my mind. Men get the bad rap because of a very small percentage of type A sociopaths and leave the other 95% of decent, faithful men to pick up the pieces. Since women talk to their friends way more easily about being cheated on than men do, it looks like only men cheat, whereas the vast majority of men do not. Sadly, there is almost no punishment for paternity fraud. Women have been doing it since the beginning of time. That's not a dig against women, just a fact. Men have been fighting wars since we first picked up a club. It's just our nature. Most men that have sued to be relieved from child support obligations in the US and elsewhere have lost in court. Many of the losses were technical in nature, like only having 1 year to challenge paternity. Parker v. Parker from Florida is a particularly disgusting case from 2001 where a man was forced to pay what will amount to over $200,000 in child support for a child that isn't his. Eventually in 2008 the laws were changed because DNA made establishing paternity so easy, but sadly this didn't help Mr. Parker, as an appellate court ruled the new law wouldn't retroactively apply to Mr. Parker. There have been several modern studies done on paternity fraud and they average between 17% and 33%, for a median of 26%. This was among couples where a DNA test to establish paternity was sought. So basically, if you think the kid isn't yours and you seek a DNA test, you've got about a 30% of being right. Still, most courts are still going to do what they believe is best for the child regardless of paternity. Thank you for watching. Please check out our other videos on cheating stories. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit cheating stories.